All right, hello, welcome everyone. This is SeeWing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. Welcome to our webinar. Thank you for attending to take time out of your day. Our network members, the Yee Real Estate Network members, thank you. Hopefully this 1 hour will be very valuable to you. And if one of you, at least one of you, if you can click the questions box and say something like that, you can hear us well and you can see the slideshow in front of you. Make sure you do that. And other than that, welcome out to our presentation, Beauty and the Beach, not to be confused with Beauty and the Beast. Anyway, so once again, we're very excited to make this presentation. Nika, do we have any confirmation that people acknowledge hearing us and all that?
All good and clear.
All right. All right. Anyway, so again, without further ado, let's go through the presentation. Let me do a short intro on gentlemen that gonna make this presentation for the second time in recent weeks, and we are very excited to present this opportunity once again. And before we do all that, I would like to relay with you the big picture as we're going through this pandemic situation, and even in a post-pandemic real estate environment, we believe the area that we're promoting and this Southwest Florida location is no exception. That we see some very positive trends in terms of migration, in terms of population, and clearly, I have educated my network recently, and a lot of you have uh, watched and reviewed all my education webinars recently about the amazing growth of Florida. In fact, Florida is number one in population growth, in migration from other areas of the U.S., especially in the upper Northeast, especially in New York City, which is the pandemic capital of the world. And we see, and Mike will go over it throughout the presentation from time to time, just to share with you not only now but in the foreseeable future, Florida would be it's just an amazing investment market. So without further ado, I have this presenter Mike Newell, and he's one of the top builder in the Southwest Florida market, and he's so entrenched into this market, and he's very passionate and very knowledgeable, and he is a builder and he knows the area very well. So this presentation will be quite a bit of detail. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Towards the back end of the webinar, in about 40 minutes or so, we can have a Q&A. You're welcome to type in your questions throughout the presentation, when we will do our best to answer most of those questions. All right. So without further ado, Mr. Mike Newell, please take it away, sir.
All right. Well, thanks, Mr. Yee, again for having me on here. I enjoy doing this and educating your folks and making sure they get some good properties in their portfolio for their rental income. So this is kind of a lengthy slide I put together. It's a lot of slides in order to keep this, kind of brief and educational. I'm going to kind of move through it rather quickly. So if any of you want this presentation after the fact, just get with Mr. Yee and he can email it to you. So as you see on the map, Southwest Florida, extremely popular area, very close to the beaches, lots of infrastructure, lots of big companies for job growth in place already. What we're focusing on mostly is the Lehigh Acres portion. That's kind of our target area at the moment with our multifamily product. And I'll show you later on exactly what we're building and give you some specs on the construction and so on. But I really just want to start with telling you more about the area. So as you see at the top right-hand corner, Lehigh Acres, that's exactly where we're building at this moment. This is where we're sticking all of the multifamily duplexes. We do have some single-family product in here as well. But we're finding that the duplexes are better cash flow situations, and you get more return on your initial capital when you do the multifamily versus the single family. There's a lot of other areas that we're targeting in and around the Lehigh Acres corridor. You can see Cape Coral, Southwest Fort Myers, Estero, Bonita Springs. These are all good areas that we will be targeting, and we're currently building single families in as we speak. But for the duplexes at the moment, Lehigh Acres is the spot to be. It's fast growing, and it's obviously surrounded by some pretty substantial cities here. Some specs on growth. What is this research project 9%? So 2020. That's kind of not irrelevant here. Give me a second. Let me get to the next one. Okay, so this was a good one. January, Fort Myers area had grown 6,797 job openings, 1,055 of those being high skill, high wage occupations. Industries with the largest job gains in Fort Myers over the past year were education and health services. That's important because during the pandemic, obviously, those were the folks that were still earning. Those were the people that were still making money, and the people that were still paying rent. So, very important. We currently have quite a few doors in our portfolio for the Lehigh Acres area, and I can tell you during this whole pandemic, during March, April, May, we had very, very few evictions. We had, to be exact, we had 2 evictions over the course of, I don't know, almost 40 doors. So that's a great number. We still have folks, that struggled to pay a little in the beginning, but they've since caught up. Everything's good. Everybody's performing the way they should. So all positive there. 2017, Fort Myers made the Forbes growth list. So if you check out these numbers here, bottom right-hand corner, pretty substantial gains. I mean, you've got to be a pretty fast-growing city to make it on the Forbes list to begin with. But by 2020, a lot of these numbers were projected to double, and they did. So we're really seeing a lot of influx. And I think based on what's happening in a lot of these northern states at the moment with the pandemic, it's only driving people towards these cities and these rural communities, so to speak. Let me get down here to these pictures. As you can see, the beach, very close to the beach, 25 minutes max from the beach in the Lehigh Acres area. This is important for a lot of people coming from up north. They want to be close to the water. They want to be close to the coastal areas, for obvious reasons. Great place to live, quality of life, so on and so forth. The area, some of them, we're very well known, some of them not so well known. In a big corporate structure down in the Fort Myers area, they employ thousands of people across the country. A lot of the bigger guys, Amazon, DHL, Hertz, what was the other one? Masonite, they all have corporate structures in and around this area. Big employers all throughout these communities. Very important for the livelihood of our tenants. Let me get down to, they're just simple renderings. These are all CBS concrete block structures that are wind rated up to 178 miles per hour. Very strong, very well-built structures. They have shingle roofs. They have concrete driveways. They have concrete soffits. They have hurricane impact glass windows and hurricane impact doors. All very important for insurance. These are very, very solid, well-built structures. A lot of builders are building with the wood frame down here. We're not doing that. We're doing concrete block. I can't stress how important that is. So, if anyone is looking at product that is wood frame and it's in South Florida, just keep in mind that there's a lot of hurricanes that come through here, lots of high winds. You need to have something solid. You need to have something that's going to, withstand winds up to 170 miles, 5 miles per hour. So very important that you have a well-built. This is a new model that we just added in. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage duplex. Each side is approximately 1,200 square feet. They each rent for between $1,300 and $1,350 per side. The total purchase price of units are $270,000. Very, very affordable price. You're looking at $135 a side. Let me get down to the actual number. So I'll walk you through this. The front is the master bedroom. Foyer leading into the kitchen with the den. As you can see, the den has a barn door on it. It's pretty attractive, well put together, well thought out. Could be a 3rd bedroom or a den. We typically leave it as a den so that way we can use a smaller septic system. If you were to identify this as a 3rd bedroom, the county would make you put in a larger septic system. So we usually identify this as a den, and then you have the 3rd bedroom in the back. They just passed an ordinance in the Lehigh Acres area that says you cannot have front doors on duplexes, and I kind of understand why. A little bit of a pain as far as the builders go, because it's extra work and extra money, but it does make the units look more aesthetically pleasing. They look like a big single family home as opposed to an actual duplex. As you can see from the pictures, the entrances are on the side as opposed to the front, and it does give it a little bit of a better look. So the county wanted that done, and this is what we've created for them. Here's the actual numbers. So a $270K purchase price, down payment 30% of $81,000. There's no initial repair costs. This is a brand new home. There is a 10-year warranty in place for this home. You're not going to have any of these expenses up front. The calculator puts these in, for absolute worst case scenario. But again, it's a brand new house. Closing costs, pretty typical, $7,560 on a $270K purchase price. Your total initial out of pocket being just under $90,000. Your loan amount being 70% at $189, interest rate at 4.6. Amortized over 30 years brings your mortgage payment to $971.72. Taxes of $250, insurance of $60, management 8%, $186. Total fixed expenses brings you to $1,590 approximately. Now, variable expenses, again, the calculator plugs these in as absolute worst case scenario. We're seeing huge tenant demand. I mean, there's a lot of tenants pulling into the area that need housing. We're not having any trouble with renting these things. If we throw an ad out, Justin, our property manager, will tell you that he has 5 or 6 applications before the end of the day, and 2 or 3 of them being fairly decent, decent credit scores and good incomes, verifiable incomes. So again, variable expenses, absolute worst case scenario. You can pretty much bank on estimated vacancy and estimated maintenance being 0. If you wanted to plug them in at 2 to 3% to be safe, you could. But again, absolute worst case scenario, total variable expenses of $589.94. Gross rent $25.90 total fixed expenses, $15.90, which we talked about before, which was your taxes, insurance, and actual mortgage payment. Your estimated cash flow of $1,000 monthly, less your total variable expenses, brings you to $410.19 cash flow per month. Again, total variable expenses will probably look somewhere around 200 at max. So you could very easily bring that 410 up to around 750 comfortably per month. And that's what we're seeing with our current investors. We're currently seeing around $750 to $800 cash flow per month. Here's the long-term view. Annual appreciation 0.77%, accumulated cash flow over 15 years of $81,292, appreciation of $136,000, and your principal pay down of $63,000. Now, if you were to estimate a selling expense of $36 on the way out, your projected profit over 15 years would be around $245,000. Annual cash on cash return of 13.4%, and an annual cash on cash, that makes no sense. So annual cash on cash return of 13.4%, annual return on investment 18.2%, annual cap rate of 6.14. If you wanted to look at the tax side of things, depreciation of $7,800 annually, and cash reserves over 6 months of $10,000. So basically, in a nutshell, we've got these things pretty dialed in as far as the duplexes go. We know how to build them, we know how to structure them, we know what the county desires, and we know what the tenant desires. We use all the same finishes per unit. We use LVP flooring. We use 5 1/4 baseboards. We use granite countertops. We use tile around the showers. We use tile around the tub. I mean, we even go so far as putting rain shower heads in where the shower stalls are. I mean, we really deck these things out for the tenants. So it's very easy for us to get tenants, number one, and these people want to stay because we provide them with a very nice product to live in, and they can appreciate that. So with that said, 270 brand new CBS duplex, each side renting for a minimum of $1,300 per month, and just absolutely the best return on investment we've seen so far for Lehigh Acres. SeeWing, you want to jump in here with any questions?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, good timing. So let's look at the big picture, okay? And a lot of you, if you've been part of my membership for the past 15 years, that's great. You know, we've been following Florida for quite a while. So and of course, I know from a high level, I know all the real estate markets, all the cities across the 50 states, believe it or not. So if you okay, I've done all my research, okay, and let me be very clear and upfront with you, because you don't have to do any more research. And if you look at the top markets in terms of population and job growth, and on affordable markets such as here in Southwest Florida, with the cash flow, I personally have not seen over the years I've been doing this any, at least especially new construction, a duplex could cost only $270,000. I mean, and the rent is like almost $2,700. We're talking 1% rent to value ratio. I say it again. I put it another way. You will not, like Mike alluded to earlier, you will not see the numbers, the returns, all the numerical benchmark, capitalization rate, cash and cash return, total ROIs, and all those nice mumbo jumbo numbers. You will not see the numbers that you can see here anywhere, even in Florida, even in Central Florida, by the way, or anywhere else. All throughout the country, that's the value add. I mean, it's very hard to find a multi-unit, especially new construction, in one of the fastest growing area in the country. And so I'll save you the research, okay? Because I've done most of it already on for you guys. Is a turnkey product. We have to. It's amazing. So it's a extremely desirable place. Yeah. So Mike, let me ask you this: how many? I mean, how many of the duplexes are available, and what is the construction timeline for those available duplexes down the road? And also, what are the earnest money deposit required to reserve one of these units, and just provide the details for us, if you
So
may.
super easy. As you know, we just started a couple for one of your customers. So 10,000 down with Truly Title Company in Palm Beach Gardens. Sign the contract, and we'll get off to the races. I think right now with the building department the way it is, we're probably looking at about 45 days before we get a permit, and then another 120 in construction. As we start to see people come back to work in the Lehigh Acres and Fort Myers building departments, we'll probably see, anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks on permit times. So, you bring that timeline down from, 6.5 to maybe 5 months. We do have right now 6 more lots available in the Lehigh Acres area. I'm going to send you those addresses so you can send them out to your guys here and gals, and they can pick which ones they want. But yeah, 6 more to go. We'll probably be picking up another 25 lots in about 3 months. We have them under contract. We're going through our due diligence. We're making sure everything's good with them. They were purchased as tax deeds, so we have some title things to work out there. But yeah, we will have another 25 available in and around 90 days from now. But right this second, we do have inventory ready to go as far as lots go, and we can have them finished for you in the next 6 months.
So the few lots you have available, I have to assume that they will be sold very, very quickly. So am I right?
Yeah, well, knowing you and your group, yeah, you guys like to buy these things, so absolutely, they'll be snapped up pretty quick. But not to worry, in 90 more days, we'll have another 25 of them for you to choose from.
By the way, some of the members, some of the newbies may not totally understand the value of new builds. I mean, you are essentially buying into the phase one. The phase one of a new construction, the early bird catches the worm, if you may. That means if you identify a lot, if you sign a contract for the lot, you pay your earnest money deposit, you're locked in on your purchase price, which at this time is $270,000. And then you wait a few months for the construction. Then do not be surprised during the construction timeline, your property could potentially increase in value, the built-in equity, if you will. So when the property is completed in however few months, then you do the transaction, then you do the loan. If the property is appraised at higher than 270K, we don't know the future, but there's a good chance it may. But you are still locked in on your initial purchase price for 270,000 right now. So, some of your veterans that been with us for many, many years, new construction, the phase one, always the critical, the most beneficial time. So let me see what else.
Let me
Yeah,
touch on it real quick.
yeah.
So, I mean, walking in, if you Google search right now in a separate window, duplexes in Lehigh Acres, you're going to see these exact models for sale and sold for around 310 to 317, depending on the finishes. That means you're walking in, and SeeWing, I give your group the great deals. I really give you guys a discount here. You're walking in with 40,000 minimum equity right out of the gate at 270. These units, exactly where we're building them, the exact same specs, the exact same model, are selling for 310 and up.
Yeah, this is yeah, very verifiable. What Mike just said is very verifiable. Now I know you, Mike, I asked you this similar question the last time, the last webinar, but I don't quite get it because your answer may be a little bit technical. Uh, I know I don't know how to say this, but why are you able to build your cost of construction is only 270K? I mean, which is great. I mean, the appraised value, like you just said, is higher than that. So what makes you able to obtain the labor and the materials to lower your cost of construction and pass on the savings to retail investors like our members here?
It's three things, and it's very simple. It's in-house employees as opposed to subcontractors. It's a lot of volume, which gives us an extremely good edge as far as buying power goes, and it's buying the land right. So we bought a lot of these lots 4 or 5 years ago, and we bought these things right. Our land costs are down, so that's why we're able to do this. Those three components there makes for a really good situation for all of us. We can build cheaper than than most, and we're building on land that has tripled in value since we purchased it.
That's great information. That's a great value add. So what I hear you saying, Mike, you and your team as a builder, I mean, even way before that, you enter this market, you any precious land, precious lot, you're able to consummate the transaction with the county and be able to build the homes that you're able to. So you are entering this market with a new build product early, sooner than other people. So that makes you a great pioneer in your local market.
Yeah,
So,
the volume really helps us out. I mean, when you're moving a lot of product, a lot of homes, a lot of multifamily, your suppliers really work with you. They give you first-rate service. They give you steep discounts on the material you're purchasing. And when you have your own in-house employees as opposed to utilizing subcontractors, you can really control the timelines. You can control the pricing. You can control, really everything that happens in all aspects of the construction business, which is the biggest variable. Time is money when you're in construction. And when you can control those two things, it makes for a wonderful situation.
yep, that's right. Not all builders are able to accomplish what you have accomplished. So very good to hear. Now, from a high level, Mike, can you share the lot all being built in Lehigh Acres, these duplexes? What are the kind of the neighborhood like? What is the neighborhood like? What is the surrounding, within 5 or 10 mile radius from this neighborhood? What are we looking at?
Commercially related, or are you talking that the tenant quality? What specifically?
Yeah, I mean, kind of a high level. I mean, what are the amenities around the area within 5 to 10 mile radius? How what this neighborhood in Lehigh Acres compared to the other neighborhoods in Lehigh Acres, and
So dense population, lots of people, very very fast growing population. There's big shopping plazas in and around this community that we're building in within walking distance. You have Publix, you have Walmart, you have a Target, you have Starbucks coffee. I mean, you have all the big names right around the community, which makes for great job opportunities for a lot of these tenants, and for the convenience of shopping and so on. As far as the tenant quality, what type of folks are moving into our units, we see a lot of I would call them small earners, around the $12 to $17 an hour range. Retail personnel, people that are working in a lot of the big box stores, things like that. And then, we also have on the other side, we have a lot of essential personnel where, they're working in schools, and they're working in the medical field, and they're working in the county ranks and things like that. So, I mean, most of the tenants that you're going to see are going to have a joint income of around $35,000 to $45,000 a year, and the average credit scores on these folks is going to be somewhere from 600 to the low 700. That's typically what we see. And keep in mind, credit isn't always everything when you're dealing with these folks. A lot of these people have medical things on their credit reports and stuff. So what we really drill down on is past performance. So we'll check where they were living before and try to get in touch with that landlord. And then we'll look at their actual verifiable income. We'll check with their supervisors or HR departments, make sure they're making what they say they're making, and we'll check their bank statements and pay stubs and verify that information a step further after speaking with those folks. So high level on these tenants, pretty decent. Like I said, out of the 40 doors we have during this pandemic, we've got 2 evictions, which is great. I mean, I'm hearing horror stories and places in the rest of the country that is that would suggest people losing 75% of their tenant rent rolls because of what's going on. But not the case here. We're seeing a lot of solid living situations, and these people are paying their rent.
Yep, that's good. That's good to hear. People need to know, investors need to know that every market is different, every city is different. Just because we hear all this misleading doom and gloom information, the news media they paint such a doom picture, but it's not it's not the case often. So anyway, so you have anything else to add before we do some Q&A? At this time, Mike, before Nika will verbally identify who typed in the questions so we can answer them.
Yeah, I see quite a few attendees on here, so get with SeeWing, get one of these 6 locked down for yourselves, or 2 or 3, because they won't be around for probably the next week.
You are right. I have several additional investors are getting real close. We already have one investor already buying at least one. So yeah, this remaining 6 duplex lots will be gone by next week, within 7-10 days max. So if you guys are interested, please contact me first, so I could do some consultation with you guys to determine your motivation, your financial resources, your commitment, and all the whole 9 yards. But other than that, Nika, can you identify who typed in the questions so we could spend the remaining 10 minutes or so addressing a few questions?
Okay, so first question is, who are the employees in Lehigh Acres?
So
you mean employers? Employees?
I'm sorry, that was employers. Pardon me.
Yeah, the companies. Yeah, Mike mentioned that already. Can you kind of?
So yeah, let's touch on that again. So a lot of the big box stores, they have a lot of the typical names, Big Lots, Target, Walmart, Publix, Winn-Dixie. A lot of the larger chain restaurants, they have some very big corporate structures as far as like Hertz, DHL, Amazon. There's a lot of smaller mom and pop shops as well. You'll see a lot of do-it-yourselfers, entrepreneurs. There's a big section of that town that has some very small restaurants as well, and they employ some people. But for the most part, I would say the dominating force is going to be big box retail stores. That's going to be your most common employer there.
Very good, very good.
Okay, and the next question is, what are other amenities in this community, such as swimming pool or gym?
So these are all infill lots. They're not part of a gated community or planned unit development. They're scattered lots within the community of Lehigh Acres. So there's no direct amenities for this community, which is beneficial because there's no HOA fee for you, the landlord. And taxes will be relatively cheaper because of the infill product being surrounded by not just multifamily, but single family as well.
So one of the attendees said that he heard that Hertz has filed for bankruptcy. He wants to know, how will that affect properties and rental market in the area?
Good question. Not sure. I hope none of our tenants are working for Hertz at the moment. I guess we'll still see.
And there's another question, will it have septic tank or city sewer?
It will be on a septic tank, and it will have a well system for the water.
What are the medical centers in the area?
The Lee Health organization is the biggest. I think there's some smaller ones as well, maybe Advent, but I do know that Lee Health is a huge employer and a huge dominating force throughout Southwest Florida. And I do know that they have a number of hospitals right in the immediate area.
Does anybody else have additional questions? That was okay, so, and are those the renters that are in the homes?
Some of them, yes. We do have some folks that work in the Lee Health organization, and those are great tenants to have. Their HR department's fairly easy to work with as far as getting verification of employment, and you know who you're dealing with at that point. You're contacting a big organization. You're dealing with some professional people, and you can count on that VOE, that verification of employment, and verifying how much they actually make. It makes for a pretty easy tenant placement.
Any more questions, Nika?
Not at the moment.
I have a question, Mike. So I know you mentioned your homes are built very, very nicely. Is pretty much hurricane proof and all that. And the insurance cost is fairly is a typical very low monthly insurance cost. So Lehigh Acres, I believe is quite away from the water. So by the time any kind of hurricane hits the Lehigh Acres area, it should kind of die down and so forth, right? Am I
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely. So, I mean, these things are built to withstand some serious hurricane force winds. Like I said, they're all concrete block structures. They're all wind rated up to 180 miles per hour, and they have comp shingle roofs. They're a very strong home, all hurricane impact glass, and that's important for you guys as landlords because you don't want to be dealing with sending someone to put hurricane shutters up if a hurricane does decide to make landfall in the Southwest Florida area. You don't have to mess with it. Your tenants are safe. Your investment's safe. It's virtually, maintenance free. Wonderful, wonderful upgrade that we provide to you at no cost. So when a hurricane does hit Southwest Florida, who knows what it's going to hit at, but if there is a strong chance that being that it has to go 25 to 30 miles inland, it does slow down. It does lose power. And it's a force of nature, so hard to predict, but absolutely it does help it that it's further inland as opposed to right on the coast.
Yeah, and the insurance cost is fairly reasonable. I believe when you went over the numbers, I think the monthly insurance cost is around $60. So that's pretty normal. So this is not nothing out of the ordinary. So this is a typical very reasonable monthly insurance coverage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I mean, I'm glad, very rare, I've been in this business for a long time, and it's very rare to see a duplex, even with a new duplex, that you have on each door, on each unit, you have 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and 1,300 square foot, which is a very, very good benefit because in the past, uh, when I see a typical duplex, it's very rare. Some duplex are like 2 bedroom, 1 bath, or 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and each door are less than, each unit is less than 1,300 square foot. So not only, you have a very good square footage and 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and 1,300 square foot, but your house looks like a single family home. So this built this structure. So another value add, another benefit you do not normally get when you buy similar type of duplex in other part of the country. So you have a really clearly you have a very good product. So yeah.
Yeah, we think so. We think so, and I think it speaks for itself. If you do, if any of you investors do decide to fly down and check it out once it's finished, you'll be very happy with the finished product. It's far superior to a lot of what's being built in Southwest Florida at the moment. So yeah, a very good product at a very good price. This thing is built for longevity. It's built to last, 70 plus years. I mean, these structures will be around a lot longer than we'll be around.
Yep, I totally believe that. So so as we conclude this presentation, my particular recap is such that the expectation for our investors, if you were to purchase some of these duplex, the expectation for the future is that the area is going to grow, continue to grow. So you will see population growth and job growth, and your property will be the beneficiary of this growth over the long term. And we expect again, nobody can predict the future, but the future is very bright here in Southwest Florida. And I predict the occupancy rate will be very high. The quality tenant is very high. And because this is a new construction, the maintenance cost over time will be a lot lower than other investment property you buy in other part of the country. And so, as a remote investor that we are here in California, most of us, 3,000 miles away, you're buying a product that will almost is passive because the Mike's team, that might have a in-house property manager, and this is a your this is a you're working we're working under one umbrella. It's a one-stop shop, if you will, with my with Mike's team. So very reassuring that to buy some product this far away, and rest assured that your investment going to be managed well over time. So with very minimal issues we anticipate. So very good return as we discussed, right? And the gross rent in relationship to purchase price is very, very attractive, 1% rent to value ratio. And so, yep, this is a very exciting time, and working with Mike's team, and we could expect to do a lot more business for the foreseeable future. Mike, you have some great ambition. You're going to venture into the other areas in this Southwest Florida. It's a path. Everything's about path of growth. So anyway, so that's my recap. So before we leave, Mike, do you have your own summary of what is your call for action? What is your recap before we finish up?
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on one more thing before we go here. The property management side, we do have that dialed in as well. We have a really good platform that we use. It's called Hemlane. It's a wonderful program. It gives the landlord their own portal. They're able to see in real time what's happening with their property, their tenant, if they've made any maintenance requests, if they've paid on time. and the money comes into Hemlane and gets dispersed directly out to the landlord from Hemlane. Gives you very detailed reporting on that. It's a real wonderful tool. Justin, who is the head of all the property management team, he's very attentive to our landlord partners. He takes very good care of them. He's always available, to answer any questions for you guys. He's actually supposed to be on this webinar tonight, but he had some previous engagements he had to attend to. But nevertheless, wonderful guy. You'll love him. You'll love everybody on our team. We take great pride in our product, and we take special care of our landlord partners in ensuring that their investment is safe and that their portfolio is performing to its optimal levels. But like I said, very, very limited product on these duplex lots at the moment, so grab them while we got them.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Mike, for your outstanding presentation. I'm very excited, and as investors, you should be as well. And thank you for everyone for attending. By the way, this webinar has been recorded, so next week I will email blast the rest of my members on this recording webinar replay. Meanwhile, for those of you who are motivated to do something, talk to me, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much, Mike and Nika. Thank you for running this webinar for me once again, and thank you for everyone for attending. Be safe, be healthy out there, and see you on the other side. Thank you, and have a nice evening. Bye-bye.